Hi, it's Matt from Go Green Auto. So here we have a Citroen Berlingo van. It's 100% electric. It's got the 22 kilowatt hour battery pack, and this one's a pretty rare van. I haven't had one of these in before because this one is an L2 body. So what that means, it's the longer wheelbase van. Well, sorry, it's not a longer wheelbase. The wheel is in the same position. What they do on the Partner and the Berlingo vans is they add this extra length in here at the back, so it's a longer body van. What that gives you is a bigger cargo area in the back. Surprisingly, that little bit there does make a huge difference in the back, and it gives you a sliding door on both sides. So let's look around it in the back. This one has never been used. It is still effectively like a brand new van. This has only done 1,000 miles. It's a 2017 model. I got it from Citroen demonstration centre, so it's just been a demo van, but nothing has ever gone in the back here. So it's all been ply lined, but this is the rubber sheet or mat that you get on the steel floor when it comes from the factory. And they've just chucked this back on the top, so as you can see there's your ply lining underneath. So in reality you would take this mat out and probably get rid of that, but it's there anyway, so it's your choice. And yeah, as you can see, the hardboard here all mark free. It's all still just like a brand spanking new van. In the back here is your charge cables. There's a type 1 to type 2 cable. That's your orange cable. So that is what you would use when you are charging on a public charge post or on a home or workplace charging unit. This is your portable charger. So that's your type 1 connector, which goes into the charging socket on the side of the van, which I'll show you in a minute. And here is the plug. So this charger allows you to charge on a normal 3-pin 240 volt socket. These can only draw 10 amps, so they do take longer than if you were to charge on a proper wall charger. So when you're charging on a wall charger using that cable, it will draw 16 amp, but using one of these it will always be charged overnight. So these are great if you're at work during the day. You can get a top up anywhere that's got a 3-pin socket, i.e. everywhere. Or charge at home if you want to, or what some people do is get a charging unit installed at home or the workplace, and then the other location just use the portable charger. But obviously you've got both here with this van. And then looking around the side, the doors are nice and heavy on this as well, shut with a nice thread. So we've got sliding doors on both sides, and as you can see, it's all still a new van effectively. So this has got the half solid half mesh bulkhead. So with the bulkhead here you've got a flap which allows you to load long items through. This passenger seat folds flat. Actually, let's show you. You can pull the blue tag here and it folds completely flush with the floor. This does then slide out the way and you can get rid of that, and then this seat is completely flush with the floor, and it allows you to put 3-meter copper pipes or conduit or whatever your trade is in, but you can just about get 3-meter lengths in there. So very handy. And I'll just show you the seating, because these are the only vans, these and the Peugeot Partners, which the Peugeot Partner and the Citroen Berlingo are the same vans, it's just a different badge and a different grille at the front. These are the only electric vans where you get 3 seats up front. So this outer seat folds flat as I've just shown you, and you can lift that and then fold it up, which allows you to use the floor there for carrying more cargo. The middle seat lifts up and you've got a little storage compartment in there. At the moment there's the puncture repair pump and gunk for fixing punctures, because you don't get a spare wheel on modern vehicles. And then you can flick this one and then that folds down, which gives you a sort of writing table, or probably more typically eating your Big Mac lunch off there. So just looking on the inside, these Citroen Berlingo and Peugeot partner vans in electric form are all the same spec. They don't vary much at all with equipment. The only differences you get really comes down to the stereo. Some have auxiliary input ports and Bluetooth. That's about the only differences I've seen on these. They all have air conditioning, they all have electric windows, cruise control. So yeah, it just comes down to whether Bluetooth is fitted from the factory or not, but very easy to fit aftermarket Bluetooth. So this one doesn't have Bluetooth, but we've got here radio, single slot CD, air conditioning, you've got electric windows, electric mirrors, 12-volt socket. This is your gear selector. So electric vehicles, effectively you drive like they're an automatic, but they don't have gearboxes, but you've got automatic selector here, part reverse neutral drive. And let's just start it up. You have a conventional key. This does only come with one key, by the way, remote key. Hopefully I'll get the other key. Often they do turn up later on. But we turn the key to the starter motor position with your foot on the brake. So you start it like a normal diesel van and you just get a bing and you get the green ready light down there, and then obviously there's no noise, no vibration. So here we can see the mileage. This van has only done 1,246 miles, so as I said, it is still like a new van. The back's never been used, and as you can see on the inside here, the front is still looking like it's just come out the showroom when it's new. So very simple to drive. You've got a power meter here, so it's sitting at 0 here. So as you accelerate, and as you're using more power, the needle moves up here. So you keep the ideally you drive with a very gentle right foot, and you keep the needle down here. And then when you lift off the accelerator, and you're getting that regen braking effect, so that's when the electric motor turns into a dynamo effectively and starts charging the battery, and you slow down on that engine braking effect, the needle drops into the blue here and shows you when you're charging. This is showing our gear selector, so if I drop it into reverse there, we have a R there, so very simple to use. And this is our fuel tank, which is a battery of course, and we're roughly half full. This is showing our estimated range. It is only showing 43 miles there. It's because it hasn't been used much. You will get more than 43 miles on half a tank. These roughly do generally around about 80 to 90 miles on a full charge in the summer. If you drive them very gently, you can get just over 90 miles out of them. But it's like all other vehicles, it's depending on how heavy you are with your right foot. And with electric vehicles, it also depends on the speed, because motorway speeds where you're doing no slowing down and getting no regen braking, then you do see the range drop quite significantly. But if you're doing normal these are most economical, about 40 to 50. So if you're doing normal A road speeds, then you're going to get somewhere near the sort of 80 to 90 mile range from these. This is quite a handy little needle. This shows you your power usage when you're using the heating. So on an electric vehicle, you've got the big traction battery that sits under the floor. Typically it's a 400 volt lithium ion battery. The only things that use that is the electric motor up front, which drives the front wheels, and the heating system, because obviously with an electric vehicle you've got to generate heat, because with a normal petrol or diesel engine you've effectively got a fire under the bonnet because you're burning that fossil fuel, and heat is the byproduct of that, and you've got excessive amounts of heat. But with an electric vehicle you have to generate the heat if you want heat in the cabin. So the heaters and obviously the air conditioning system always uses the traction battery, but that does reduce range a little bit. It's quite nice on these that when you have some heat, so if I apply a little bit of heat, the fan has come on, we can see the needle moving up here a little bit, and we're still in the green, but it's showing us on the display here, by using that much heat we're going to lose 3 miles of range. So it's quite a nice little system, and if I whack it up to a lot higher, we're now applying more heat, the needle's moved up, and if we keep the heater on at this level all the time we're going to use 7 miles of range. So it's quite a nice little system. And if I put it into cold, and we've now got the air conditioning has come on, the needles drop down a bit more again, and we're using 1 mile of range. Air conditioning is a lot more efficient than actually producing heat. So that's what that's about, and that's it really. Very simple to understand. We've got cruise control down here, we've got stereo controls on the stalk down there, we've got electric mirrors, headlight adjustment, traction control switch, and yeah, very nice little van. So the other thing you get on these is you get a storage compartment behind the dash here, you get storage at the top here, overhead storage all the way along. You get a glove box there, but the glove boxes are never very big on right hand drive cars because the fuse box is always in the way. You've got a compartment up here which is also in the glove box, and you've got a funny little compartment here. You've got compartments down there. You've obviously got the storage under this seat. You've got door bins. The cup holders are in the door bins on the Peugeot and Citroen vans. They're not the easiest to use, but you can get coffee cups in there okay, but you're not going to get your large McDonald's milkshake in there. And obviously got a little bit of storage here, and you've got a tray up here. But yeah, these are really good practical vans, and as I said, the only vans with 3 seats. And because it's effectively an automatic, you've got no transmission, you've got no gear selector here, so you've got room for some knees if someone wants to sit in the middle there. I have been in these with 3 adults. It is a squeeze, but it's doable. But as you can see, the seat's smaller here. But great if you've got kids and you obviously want to drop them off at school or whatever, and you can take the van and you can still fit 3 people in these. So I'll just quickly talk about charging, because the other nice thing about these vehicles is they do have DC rapid charging. So you have 2 charge flaps. On this side is your AC charging. So this is what you would use at home or workplace, or while you're on site during the day, or if you pull up to a public charging post, this is where you would use that orange cable which is in the back and charge on an AC charger, which does take some hours to charge, but that's where you would get your top up. But typically overnight charging while you're asleep, so the vehicle's charged for the morning. And then on the other side, where your diesel filler cap would have been on a diesel model, this is your DC CHAdeMO rapid charger. So this is 50 kilowatt DC, so this is what you would use during a trip to get that very fast rapid charge. So this, using this port, it will charge the vehicle in 20 to 30 minutes from 0 to 80%. So these chargers are typically at motorway services, also now in some supermarket car parks. They're popping up more and more in towns, also in Lidl car parks, and also in IKEAs and places like that. So there's more and more rapid chargers popping up. So on a rapid charge, it's a 20 to 30 minute charge. On the AC charging on the other side, that's typically your overnight charging, or when the van is parked for some hours. So the purpose of these videos primarily is to describe the condition. So I'm very honest, I point out every little stone chip, scratch or mark, no matter how minor. Often I'm too negative, I'm pointing out things that really don't need pointing out. But what that does is give people the confidence to buy the vehicle without coming to view it first. And to be honest, most people do. And then I can deliver the vehicle to you. So I deliver all over the country, so there's no problem if you live some distance away. And obviously the purpose of the video is to allow you to make that decision without having the effort of coming down to view it first. But there's not much to show you on this vehicle because, as I said, it's still like a new vehicle. As obviously it's only done 1,000 miles, so you would expect that. But I'll walk you around anyway. The front bumper is absolutely scratch free. There's not a mark on it. There's no stone chips on the front grille there or the bonnet. There's no stone chips in the windscreen. There really isn't anything for me to pick up on this, but anyway, we'll walk round. The tyres are like new. Obviously they've only done 1,000 miles. It's got the Michelin tyres on. All the wheel trims are mark free. There's no scratches on the back of the mirrors. There's not a single dent anywhere in the bodywork. The only thing I can find, it's down here on the back bumper. There's a little scratch there in the plastic bumper, but that is it. It's all immaculate. Looking around this side, the wheel trims are all good. And yeah, there's nothing to point out. And as I've shown you on the inside, door cards are all scratch free. There's not a mark anywhere, and you know, it's only done 1,000 miles, so the seats are still looking like new with no wear. And then on the inside, as I've shown you, it's never been used. So yeah, it's genuinely still looking like a brand spanking new vehicle. It's obviously done only the 1,000 miles or so, and it's got the remainder of the manufacturer's warranty left. Just quickly show you the paperwork. This one, as I said, it's come from Citroen UK fleet demo. It's had no previous keepers, and the registration date is the 4th of the 4th 2017. And here we've got all the books. We've even got the PDI labels from when it was new. I see there's one in the door pocket as well, and all the handbooks and everything like that, and service book. Obviously it's only done 1,000 miles, so it hasn't had a service yet. As we saw on the dash here, I'll just start it up quickly. It's got 24,850 miles until the next service is due. If you want a charging unit, then I can arrange that as well. Typically they cost £249 all in installed. That is because you get an OLEV grant of £500 towards the cost of that. The installer applies for that on your behalf, and they typically take 1 to 2 weeks to get installed. So as I said, I can sort of set that in motion as well. So often they get installed before the vehicle gets delivered. And if you're interested in this van, then do give me a call or email. This one is ready to go, and as I said, I can deliver anywhere in the country. So let me know your postcode and I will work out the delivery cost. But most deliveries end up costing between £100 and £150. Obviously it depends on distance. If you're in London, then yeah, you're looking exactly that, usually around the £100 to £125 mark to get a vehicle delivered into London. So while we're talking about London, these being 100% electric and obviously zero emission, they're exempt from the London congestion zone, and they're also exempt from the new low emission zone. So compared to running a Euro 5 diesel or older, you're looking at saving of about £8,500 a year if you were to enter the zone every day. I think you need to register them still, but that costs something like £10 a year, but obviously a huge saving there. Being an electric vehicle, you don't pay road tax currently, and the fuel cost on an EV is much less. Typically you're looking at about 2 to 3 pence per mile to run an electric vehicle versus 13 to 14 pence a mile to run a petrol or diesel. But you can make that come down even further if you can benefit from some free public charging. Often a lot of chargers are still free. Obviously depends where you charge and whether you can use one of those and it's convenient in your location, but if you can get some free electricity, your running costs tumble even more. And obviously if you can charge at work versus charging at home or your workplace, if it's your business, then you obviously can charge at work, and there's a tax benefit there of charging at work versus charging at home. But yeah, EVs very cheap to run. And servicing is minimal. There's no serviceable parts really on an electric vehicle apart from the pollen filter. Obviously you've got no oils or anything like that to worry about. And once they're out of warranty, then you know you don't service them, you just drive them. Your MOT test, which you still have to have done, checks all your important stuff like your tyres and brakes. And eventually as they age, then you might be looking at you know, obviously checking your suspension and shock absorbers and that sort of thing. But yeah, you just drive them, you don't need to particularly service these. You change the brake fluid every few years and your pollen filter every year if you want to, but that's about it. Wear and tear items, you know, you're down to tyres and wiper blades. So yeah, very cheap to run, and obviously very quiet. There's no vibration, and they're much nicer vans to drive than a normal diesel van, of course.